Aloha. So for this concept, what we were talking about today follows the idea. If we are playing a note on the treble clef and the lowest note is not representative of the key that you are in, we are looking at something called an inversion. Meaning, when you play the lowest note on your ukulele, which generally is the C string, you would alter the chord. Meaning, when you play a C major with just one finger on the 3rd fret of the ukulele, at the 3rd fret on the A string, you would be showing yourself how to play a C note on an A string. When playing the 3rd note here, it's a C note, and then the remainder of these strings, the G string, the C string, and the E string, make up a C, E, G, C major. If you had the A in there, you know that it would be a C6. But by adding that other note, you get 2 C notes, one being the octave. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, a P8. So when we go through the process of seeing these notes played, the bottom space on the treble clef is the F sharp space. The reason why it's a P8 away from the top line, which means if the top line of the treble clef is an F and the bottom space is an F, then the top space of the treble line must be an E and the bottom line of the treble clef must be an E. Hence, the note or the space underneath an E would be a D, meaning that the space underneath the treble clef is a D note. And then the ledger line would contain our C, being the lowest note on the ukulele. Since your ukulele has a low G, you can see how the notation for standard pieces of music is just a little different. However, when you're going through here again, please pay attention to the chords that you're playing. Like this A that we were talking about, you don't really need to put that other additional finger back behind. You can just move the pattern through using a specific type of inversion. The inversion you used when playing the A major at the 4th fret would have had a low F sharp, meaning when we play A major and we have got A, C sharp, and E, is that right? No, that's wrong. I'm sorry about that. A major would have a note up here, note here, and note here. So we would have the lowest note would actually have been an E. So our 5th of the chord in the A major would have been here. That means that the A major that is used as a bar chord at the 4th fret, barring up the 4th and then playing the F major shape, that would actually be a 2nd inversion because A, C sharp, E is the spelling. A, B, C sharp, D, and then E. A, C sharp, E. Since the note that's the lowest was the E, that means that when we play here and we see that the lowest line note is an E, that's an inversion. So maybe one of the things you would want to do is go through the book you have and use a pencil, not a pen, a pencil very lightly, and then write inversion number. We can see that because we've already worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as being Roman numerals. When we were to play this note as a D and it has the F sharp, that F sharp is the major 3rd of the key of D, meaning that is a 1st inversion. So what we would do is we would put a Roman numeral 1 and a 6 right next to it, meaning it's using the 1st inversion. When we go through the process of seeing A, we would have an A6-4, which would be a 2nd inversion. We'll explain what these inversion numbers meaning, but it's more for a system called figured bass and chord analysis, which you and I have already started the beginning process of this. So concept is, pay attention to all the notes, what their lowest notes are, realize if they're a 1st inversion, 2nd inversion, and I don't see any 4 notes here, like a 7 chord. I don't see like an A minor 7 throughout this thing right here, at least on the 1st page. So all these are just going to be root position, 1st position, or 2nd position inversions. Cool? And then go over the process. I thought your finger picking sounded great. Keep that process, and then by all means, that circle fist that we were doing there, what you're going to want to do is draw that circle fist. I know we didn't really go into depth with it, but you're much more advanced at the circle fist than Zeze is at this point. So the idea is if she has any questions, help her out. What we stumbled upon here is that the inner circle of the circle fifths contains the relative minor. So if you leave enough space, you should be able to go around the whole thing left and right. Do it both ways. Think about what's 4 notes from A minor. A minor is C major's relative minor. So when you go 4 notes to the side, A, B, C, D, D minor would be F major's relative minor. When going through it, look at it through the eyes of what's 4 notes away this way or what's 5 notes away this way. So going the other way, A minor, A, B, C, D, E. Well, the next sharp would be G, has F sharp. So the relative minor of G major would be E minor. If you keep doing that, you will find that the inner circle shows you what the relative minors are. What I just described was thinking of it from both ways to see what tangibly you could tie together. So when you think of F major, you also think of D minor. When you think of B flat major, you also think of G minor. In that same regard, keys become easier to understand. Like E major, I know that C minor is not its relative minor. C sharp minor is. Therefore, E flat major must have C minor as its relative minor. See how that works together? We'll do more chit-chatting about this, but it will help us to do modulations and to think outside the box when being creative, improvising. It's good seeing you. Until next week.